Yeah, you guys are playing tonight at the Guildhall. You've been here before?
I've been to Gloucester before, but I've never been to this venue before, no.
Are you looking forward to the gig tonight?
Yeah, it should be really good. I mean, we've never played Gloucester before, so who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? But
So I think it's our first show in the UK for a little while, I guess. Maybe like how long? Probably like 2 weeks, which is quite a long time in the kind of way that we're touring at the moment.
it's
I
longer
think
than 2 weeks.
Yeah, we're in America before.
3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Maybe
Yeah.
longer. Yeah.
How was the American tour? Is it different audiences? Are you well received there at the moment?
Yeah, we had really good time in America actually. We did about 6 shows, but we went to Iceland first to do the Airwaves Festival, and then went to Canada from there. Then we went down to America, and it was really, really good. But it was the second time we've been there, so some of the places we already kind of had a little fan base, like New York and LA were both kind of really good shows for us, and San Francisco as well was a really good show. But yeah, it was a good experience and good to kind of keep going back up there, because America's one of those places which you don't get successful in easily. It takes a lot of work, and it's good to know that we've already kind of got a kind of starting point for when we go over there properly to tour the album.
How do you find that British audiences are different to American audiences, how they react to you?
I've always heard it's more crazier here than America. Is that true, or is that...
I think they are different. I think people in America are slightly more receptive, actually, in general. If you're playing low down on a festival bill, for example, like we were this summer on Lollapalooza, people walked past a stage and they heard something they liked. They stood and watched and stayed, which was different. I don't think people really do that in the UK, or not so much anyway. Whilst I guess people, especially in London, when they come to a show, they stand and watch. They don't really go crazy at all. It's different in America. It's certainly different. It's quite hard to put my finger on why, but it is.
What's your favourite place to play in the UK?
We had a really cool show in Glasgow when we were doing our headline tour a couple of months ago. That was awesome because that was the first time we'd been to Scotland, apart from Tea in the Park, but the first time we'd done like a proper show in Scotland. And really good audience there. Like, you know, I think one of the rules is that the further north that you go, usually the better the audience gets. That's one of the rules that I've heard. Orkney, yeah. Yeah, they would love it. But yeah, that was a really good show. It's always good playing a hometown show, so it's nice to do. It's nice to do the shows in London. Like we've got a big one at Coco next week, which is a really big show for us, and that's going to be like a homecoming and like our first kind of properly big show anywhere in the world. So that's quite exciting.
Really
for us.
exciting, yeah.
Just recorded the album in Brussels as well, in London. Was there a different vibe between the two cities?
It was, but not particularly because of the two cities, just because of the way we recorded. In Brussels, it was obviously residential because we don't have second homes there or anything. So that was, I mean, we were living and sleeping about 2 minutes away from the studio. So every day you would get up, you'd have breakfast for like 15 minutes, and you'd be straight in the studio, and you'd work all day till really late at night. Whilst in London, obviously you have to travel to the studio. Everything starts a little bit later, and you finish a lot earlier. So it was a very different way of working from the two places. But obviously there are huge differences between Brussels and London, but we didn't actually experience any of those because we were working the whole time.
Is it a lot harder recording the album than you would have thought?
It was in some ways, yeah, because we had 5 tracks before we went in to record the album, and obviously the album's 10 tracks long, so we had to write and record 5 tracks in the studio, and that was hard. It was very hard, but it was challenging in a good way. It was very interesting to do, and in the end we came off with something that we're really proud of, and yeah, just can't wait for people to hear it basically.
Enemy Shockwave tour coming up. Excited about that?
Very excited. I mean, the Enemy Awards tour I've been to one before, but the lineups every year have been amazing. And
Would you say this could be like a stepping stone to getting somewhere pretty big?
Yeah, I mean, the best year of the Enemy Awards tour was The Killers, Kaiser Chiefs, Future Heads, and
Wasn't Franz Ferdinand?
it was Franz Ferdinand.
I think it might be.
Yeah, it was Franz Ferdinand.
Okay, yeah, is that?
Yeah, so I mean, with Enemy Awards tours like that previously, we'd hope that R1 will be similar, i.e. the bands will take off afterwards. Obviously we hope that because we want to take off, but
What do you make of the bands that you're playing with? I've got them written down here. Glass Vegas, Friendly Fires, Florence and the Machine.
we're big fans of Las Vegas. I played a show at Union Chapel for the Little Noise sessions with Las Vegas recently, and that's the only show we'd done them previously, but we have met them, and we are touring with them later this year as their main support starting at the end of this month.
Yeah, starting really soon.
Yeah, we're big fans of their music, and they're cool people.
We toured with Friendly Fires before because we did the Enemy New Noise tour at the start of the year, on which it was us, them, Crystal Castles. So we've been on the road with them before. I think we're feeling that our strongest bond will probably be with Las Vegas on this run. But we already have a head start with them because we've hung out with them a lot, and they're very cool guys.
Do you have any pre-gig rituals before you come on? Like the View like to slap each other for some strange reason. Do you do anything to...
Is this one right now, sitting in the dark?
No, but maybe it should be.
No, this would be the worst. This would be the worst way of getting up for a gig. This is quite kind of like gloomy. I don't know.
Traditionally, I get very sleepy before we play a show, and I usually sit down for a long time and sort of try and get up for it, but fail miserably. And then, other than that, I mean, we huddle, and other than that, we don't really have any rituals. The huddling only lasts for about 2 seconds, so it's not a proper ritual.
Yeah, I think it'd be foolish of us to get in the way of needing rituals before we start to play. I think we're pretty confident at the moment, anyway.
I'll ask a personal question, because I come from Brighton. I think you played in Brighton earlier in the year, didn't you, on the NME thing? How do you think the crowd is there, and do you like the city at all?
We've had some good shows in Brighton. We played the Great Escape Festival there. We played, obviously, the NME New Noise Tour, and we also played a show on our headline tour there at the Concorde.
No, it's a Comedia, wasn't it?
Comedia.
Yeah.
Comedia, yeah. And they're all great shows. Yeah,
Brighton,
really good time.
Brighton is, I think, my second favourite city in the UK.
After London?
After London, because I know it better. But Brighton's just good fun. It's very cool.
Where do you draw your influences from in the songs? Because Unfinished Business in particular seems to tell like a kind of story. Is there a story behind it?
There is a story behind it. Our bassist, unfortunately, is not here. He's the person who writes the lyrics. The story is that there is a man who has a fight with his girlfriend, and when he goes over to her house to reconcile with her, he realises that she's killed him and he's a ghost, and he's sort of not haunting her but watching her from beyond the grave. I don't know. You'd have to ask Charles, I suppose, the influence of the lyrics. But musically, when we started White Lies, we would listen to a lot of bands like... Well, the 2 main bands we listened to were Secret Machines and Interpol, really. Both of their first albums. They're great. That was just what we were listening to at the time.
You compare it to Interpol and Joy Diviz and Echo and the Bunnymen, to listen to a lot of them as well.
Echo and the Bunnymen was a band that we'd never really heard before we started White Lies. People started making those comparisons. We decided to go back and listen a lot, especially to Echo and the Bunnymen. We now all be really big fans of theirs. We think the album Ocean Rain is incredible. So
It's quite a strange way to do it, to go back on the influences that you've been compared to.
yeah, I suppose it is, but it's cool.
So the next album could be completely different.
Probably will be. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I haven't started writing for it yet, but
When's the new album out? This
It's
is
January. It's 2009. Yeah. It was the 12th, but now it's been pushed
19th,
back
yeah.
a bit again. So
the next single is out on the 12th, which is
To
gonna
Lose
be-
My Life.
Yeah.
Is that the name of the album as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright guys, thanks a lot. Good luck with the gig tonight.
Thank
Thank
you
you
very
very
much.
much. Cheers.
Let's get some lights.